Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Taylor, co-owner of VeganProteins online coaching, and today I am going to be reacting to a video that many of you have sent me, which is about Mommy Tang no longer being vegan. Now I'm going to be honest, I didn't know who Mommy Tang was. Her name is 𝐿𝐿𝐵. All I've done is kind of look up a little bit about her. So she was a popular South Korean-born content creator and internet personality best known as one of the pioneers for creating vegan mukbang videos. So those are the videos where someone sits down and eats a whole meal with you on camera, and I actually really like the concept of mukbang videos. They started as a way for like lonely people to feel like they were having dinner with somebody, but they kind of turned into a bit of a freak show. And I don't like listening to people eat, so it sounds like my own personal nightmare. But before we get into it, if you're a vegan who's looking to build muscle, burn fat, get healthier, get fitter, go ahead and hit subscribe, because we put out new videos every week with recipes, meal plans, tips, tricks, and educational videos. And apparently this reaction video, because you guys loved the last reaction video that I did. But I'm a little bit nervous to make this video because I have avoided for a very long time making any kind of reaction videos to the I'm no longer vegan videos, because I never ever want to be bullying to somebody else. I don't want to attack somebody else's experience. But also on the flip side of that, I have watched a lot of these videos and I find that a lot of times there's a lot of misinformation.
I'll look at someone and the vegan person will go, oh, this person's really healthy, look at this picture of health. And I'll go, this person's dead.
That could dissuade somebody else from trying a vegan diet or a plant-based lifestyle. And I think having been vegan for 24 years, I have a lot to say about these sorts of things. So, without further ado, I have not watched this video. Let's get into it. Okay, so this video is only 13, not even 14 minutes long, which usually these no longer vegan videos are very, very long. So I'm super curious. I also, again, when I was doing a little bit of background on her, she's been on YouTube, I think, since very shortly after she went vegan. So I think she's been on YouTube for 14 years. Let's just find out. What's her oldest video? Oldest was 11 years ago. So she's been on YouTube for 11 years. And just looking at the thumbnails from here, I mean, these videos have 408,000 views, 325,000 views, 250,000 views. She has over 500,000 subscribers on her channel and 337 videos. That's quite the ratio, my friend. So she has been here for a while. Again, just mukbangs, not my thing. Let's get into watching this video.
Hi guys, it's 𝐿𝐿𝐵. The title of this video, you guys, is not a clickbait. And I never thought that I would be making this video one day, till just last week.
I can see why she's popular already, because she has a very like cute personality, and she's gorgeous, of course, but just very cute personality. Like, I would want to watch this person not eat dinner, because I don't want to watch anybody eat dinner.
So as a vegan for 14 years, I did crave meat here and there. But there are certain things I knew I had to say goodbye to, even though the cravings were really high. In the beginning, I had cravings all the time. And when I would go to like, you know, cake store or a bakery or something, and I see people eating baked goods and stuff, I would like fight myself really hard not to eat it. But the years caught up, and by 8th or 9th year, it wasn't food for me.
Okay, so I think this is fair. While I personally haven't ever craved meat, I also never liked meat, even back when I was a little kid and I ate it. But I do love pastries and cakes and all of those things. And I was actually talking to a client about this not that long ago. If you go to the right bakery, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a vegan and a non-vegan treat. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been to plenty of vegan bakeries that are just not good, just flat out not good. But I've also been to some vegan bakeries that are like top tier amazing. I genuinely do not think you would be able to tell the difference between them. If you put two cakes in front of somebody and said which one's vegan, I think they'd have a hard time telling you. And in fact, I've seen that happen, and the people did have a hard time telling them apart. They couldn't tell them apart. So that said, I am unfamiliar with South Korean pastries, so maybe there's something different there, but at least with like American and European style pastries, I think we've kind of nailed it.
My brain is very scattered right now because I don't even know. Like, I don't really feel the need to call everyone that I know. I'm like, hey, I'm eating meat. I'm eating meat. Like, it shouldn't be really a big deal.
I gotta say, I get what she's saying, but also, if I were to start eating meat tomorrow, which I'm not gonna do, but if I did, I feel like it would be a pretty big conversation with literally everybody that I know at this point, because not that vegan has become my whole identity, because as I've talked about before, I actually in my day-to-day life don't really talk about being vegan very much anymore. Like, it doesn't come up a lot anymore, but that's because it is so normal to me and my husband and my family that we don't have to talk about it at all anymore. So if I were to just start eating meat, every single human being that I know would have questions for me, because they have also come to just accept that me and 𝐬𝐲𝐭 and our family, like, we're vegan and that's normal. So to them. So if I stopped, it would be a big deal. I think everybody would want to know why. That doesn't mean everybody would deserve to know why, but so I get what she's saying.
So I don't know why you guys follow me, but if you guys do follow me for my vegan content, you're gonna be very, very disappointed, and I'm sorry.
I think that's a nice thing to say. Like, if that's what you were following me for, then I'm sorry. I saw that she not only has like a vegan following, but also a Korean following, which makes sense. So maybe those are like two separate communities. I appreciate her just saying, sorry, you're gonna be very disappointed. And I hope that she does leave all of those videos from years prior up, because it seems like they probably inspired a lot of people to try more plant-based food. And that's always gonna be a good thing, and that'll live up there forever, as long as she doesn't delete them. Okay, now she's gonna get into the reasons, which I'm most curious about.
I mean, there are many, many reasons why I decided to eat meat, but one of them was I just recently started working out because
this is why you guys sent it to me.
Anxiety, depression, and PTSD from, my past. That the best way to fight this is for you to start building muscle.
Okay. First of all the empathy in the world for anybody struggling with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. That is super, super challenging, and I feel for anybody in that position. That said, and I also am psyched to hear that she started lifting weights. That's fantastic. I'm one of the biggest proponents of lifting weights ever, huge proponent of taking care of your mental health. And yes, exercise will help your mental health. I fully believe that, but I don't think building muscle, which is what she said, like building muscle will help with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. Building muscle will help with so many things, and exercise can help with anxiety and depression, and maybe therefore by proxy PTSD a little bit, but usually the type of exercise that we're looking at in those studies is much more cardio-based than strength training based. This is not to say that strength training can't help with anxiety or depression at all, because it's like a new exciting path. It could unlock some confidence doors for you. Like, there's lots of pathways, but the data that we see that supports exercise helping with anxiety and depression is usually more cardio-based stuff.
I've also learned that protein was very important in your diet. For 14 years of my vegan life, I did not care about protein. So my diet was basically no protein, because I don't like beans. The only thing that I would eat was tofu. Looking back now, that's all I ate was just carbs and fat.
Okay, so yes, when it comes to building muscle specifically, protein is very important, 100%. More than some people in the vegan community would like us to believe, protein is important for building muscle. She said she didn't care about protein. This is super common. I have met and worked with so many vegans who never really gave protein a second thought. Now that is much, much less today than it was even like 5 years ago, because right now protein is having its moment, right? And it's everywhere to the point where it's like, okay, maybe we can cool it on the protein propaganda now. And this is me saying it after a really long time of being like, hey, vegans, you do actually need to pay attention to your protein intake if you're trying to build muscle or get stronger or change your body. She mentioned she doesn't like beans. I have to point out that tofu is made from beans, but I get what she's saying about, you know, she probably just doesn't like the texture themselves of beans, but she probably was getting protein in, but likely not as much as she probably should be to be getting enough protein to build this muscle that it sounds like she's now trying to do. But vegans and non-vegans eating a predominantly high carb, high fat, lowish protein diet is, I would say that's closer to the norm than the opposite.
I gained a lot of weight. Also, I'm not that very active. They go out for walks and they love cardio. I wasn't burning enough calories, I guess, eating carbs and fat.
Okay. She says, I wasn't burning enough calories eating carbs and fat. So I kind of think of those as like two separate thoughts. Like I wasn't burning enough calories and also I was eating carbs and fats. So the way that you're burning calories has almost nothing to do with the makeup of the macronutrient content that you eat. So they're separate things. Like burning calories you can do regardless of what you're eating. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So she said, she started getting a lot of, fat. So you can absolutely gain weight on a vegan diet. Okay. I know a lot of people follow it for like weight loss or like get interested in it because of weight loss, but you can gain weight as a vegan. And I personally think that it's very easy to. Some people might disagree with me, but that has been my experience.
And then I found this doctor called Dr. Stacy Sim on YouTube and talks about, how important muscle is for older women and all that stuff.
Okay, so she says she started listening to Dr. Stacy Sims, who I think in general puts out good content. Like the general advice that she gives, I think is mostly good. But she's not a medical doctor. She, I believe, has a PhD in exercise science, I believe. So not a medical doctor. Not that discredits her as a doctor by any stretch. But what I've noticed with Dr. Stacy Sims is, like I said, her general advice, great. Build muscle, eat protein, take creatine, build strong bones, build the muscle now so that when you lose it when you're older, you're not like in dire straits. Like there's a lot of good stuff there. But I have also noticed with her content that there is, it like kind of toes that line of evidence-based science and then like wellness industry dogma that is not supported by science. She talks a lot about why women specifically shouldn't do fasted cardio or fasted training. Now, I'm not a fan of fasted training for a lot of reasons, for anybody, but there's no research to suggest that women specifically go into like a fight or flight state after training fasted any more than anybody else. Yes, there's a little bit of a cortisol bump, but that's for everybody. It's not specific to women, and there is no data on it long-term at all. So I feel like there's some fear-mongering stuff in there that is very, very black and white and very, very absolute and really ignores nuance of specific situations. So I don't actually really know where I come down on Stacy Sims. Like mostly good, take it with a grain of salt, I guess. So, okay, she said she started bumping up her protein intake.
So I started taking protein powder and then I started eating tofu every day. But that was it, you guys. Like I ate block of tofu and sometimes 2 protein shakes. I just felt so like deprived.
All right, so I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with my story, but I was vegan before I got into fitness. And when I did get into fitness, the coach that I worked with at the time, I was 19 years old or so, she gave me a meal plan that was basically that. And she was vegan as well. Very disappointing. My meal plan was basically that. It was protein powder multiple times per day and tofu or tempeh once or twice per day. Very small portions of carbs, very small portions of fats, plenty of vegetables, but it was rough. And I did it because I was like young and starry-eyed and I just wanted to get these results. And I too felt so deprived and it was miserable. I didn't enjoy the taste of the protein powders at all. If you guys want to know why I hate protein powder to this day, it is because of that time period in my life. They literally make me gag because of it. So I get it. I get it, Mommy Tang. Like I couldn't live like that forever either. Of course, that's when I went into my deep dives in nutrition and tried to figure out how to adapt my diet so that it could be something that I actually liked and looked forward to and had more flexibility built into it while still working towards those goals. But it was like a very deliberate learning process at the time. But I understand why that would turn somebody off. And that's why the coaches out there that are prescribing these meal plans that are all like that, stop it. Like, just stop. If you're not vegan, go learn how to build a plan for somebody that is vegan. If you are vegan, what are you doing? Why are you making plans like that? They're so miserable.
I ate a lot of like noodles and pastas, bread sometimes, and eating high protein on a vegan diet was pretty hard for me.
Okay, so she says eating a high protein diet as a vegan was hard. I don't know where she lives. I should have looked this up, but I didn't. She could be in South Korea for all I know. I have no idea, and I don't know what it's like to be vegan in South Korea. I've never been there. But there is a learning curve to eating more protein as a vegan. There's absolutely a learning curve to it, but I would say this is true for anybody that's getting into fitness and learning how to build muscle like for the first time in their life. Everybody that does that is going through a learning phase of the best ways to eat for them that are like the appropriate portions and foods that they enjoy, and they're probably learning about different macros of different foods that they didn't know about before, whether they're vegan or not. So when you're vegan, you're just learning a different list of foods. But there are a lot of foods that can help you reach a higher protein target if that's what you're shooting for. And we have a whole video. We have so many videos on protein on this channel, but we have one on, my top 5 favorite protein foods. We have one on how much protein you should eat. Like, what does the literature actually say? And you can watch that if you want to. But if you're shooting for a higher protein goal, there are foods that you can eat to do it. Are they available where she is? I don't know. So I don't want to, I'm not trying to judge Mommy Tang specifically. She seems like a lovely person, and I don't know her life, but just for anybody else that's maybe thinking something similar, these options do exist.
Thinking about it for a while, like, should I eat meat? Should I not eat meat? I asked myself, why did you go vegan in the first place?
That's what I am asking myself also. Like, why were you vegan? Because I'm thinking, like, I can't imagine what would have to be happening in my life for me to be like, should I eat meat? But that's because my reasons for being vegan are very, very specific and related to my own personal ethics. So that question would just like never pop into my head, I guess. So why did she go vegan in the first place? Let's find out.
That was a big question. A lot of people are vegan because they're like, animal right, and we care about the animal. I learned a lot about that being vegan, but I went vegan because I wanted to lose weight.
There it is. That's it. Didn't I just say that? Like, so many people, at least were, she's 14 years ago, right? At least were drawn to the vegan diet as a method of weight loss. And a vegan diet can help somebody lose weight. Like, absolutely, it can. And for some people, it will without even trying that hard. But one, it is not a sure thing, because it really all comes down to calories in, calories out. No matter whether you're vegan, keto, carnivore, like, it doesn't matter. It's all calories in, calories out. So the question is, can you overeat on a vegan diet? And you absolutely can. I mean, you can overeat very healthy whole plant foods also. It's harder because they tend to be higher in fiber, but it is still possible, okay? So when you come to veganism, which I'm gonna play semantics here for just a second, and bear in mind, like, I don't care what you call yourself vegan, call yourself plant-based, I don't care. But it is worth just like mentioning that they mean different things, okay? A plant-based diet is just that. It is a diet made up of plants. That's it. And generally speaking, someone goes on a plant-based diet for health reasons, maybe weight loss reasons. Veganism is more of a philosophy. It's an ethical stance that we should not be using animals. They're not ours to use, I guess. So within that is a plant-based diet, but it also extends far beyond that. And like I said, be plant-based and call yourself vegan, be vegan and call yourself plant-based. People have lots of reasons for choosing to call themselves whatever it is they call themselves. But when I'm looking at people who are not staying vegan, it is almost always because they went vegan for a health-based reason, let's call it, and way more often than not, it's weight loss.
Was the pure reason in the beginning. And then
I very much appreciate her honesty about this, by the way, though.
I've studied and learned a lot, but I went vegan because I wanted to lose weight. And then I learned that the animal right and all that stuff. So there's still a lot of vegan in me, and it's hard to get it out of your brain.
And that's the part, this is the only thing that I can't I can't put myself in her shoes and like understand, I guess. And that's not a judgment, that's just something that I'm I don't think, once you know something, and I used to ask this even back when I was 16 years old, and I remember learning all this stuff for the first time and trying to show other people, you know, what really happens in the animal agriculture world. And I remember thinking like, oh, if they just knew, then they would do it too, right? They'd give it up too. And imagine my surprise when so many people I did show it to, and they watched and they learned and they understood and they made no changes. And it just, I guess, goes to show that we are all very different. So when she's like, there's a part of me that's vegan and it's like hard to get it out of my brain, like I don't think that I could. And that's not to say that I'm, you know, anybody that is vegan is better than somebody that isn't, because like I've said in other videos, there's other areas of my life that I'm sure that I have the same cognitive dissonance that people who know this about animals but still choose to eat them have, right? Like I'm recording this on an iPhone. I'm pretty sure that like one of the minerals in an iPhone is like mined by children somewhere. Like that's horrible. I guarantee that people being taken advantage of probably sewed this shirt and, you know, made some of the food or picked some of the food that's downstairs. That's terrible. But what am I doing about it? I mean, I try to make good choices, but are they perfect choices? They're absolutely not perfect choices, you know? And I feel like a lot of people who are in this stance feel the same way about eating meat and eating animal products that I feel about some other things.
This is kind of scary. Like, I bet you this video is going to be, you know, hated by some of the vegans. Like,
hopefully this is not considered one of those videos. I have no judgment for this woman specifically. I'm just hoping to maybe help somebody else that's on a vegan path through this video.
The PTSD in my Korean channel is a lot less because a lot of stuff happened to me in my life while I was creating this channel. I have a lot of PTSD when it comes to this channel. It's like a love and hate relationship kind of thing. I love you guys for supporting me, but I hate the fact that it hurt me once too. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, actually. I don't know if this, maybe it does. Maybe this is part of the reason why she's parting ways with her veganism, is because they're so intrinsically like linked in her brain and her memory that building this channel and her vegan following was traumatic for her in some way. I don't know what that means. I don't know what exactly happened, but I do know that building a YouTube channel is not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, I like doing this. I like making these videos. I cannot believe this many of you give one single crap what I have to say about anything, so thank you. But you know, there's a lot of hate that gets thrown at you too, and that can be really, really challenging. And I guess it's kind of what you sign up for, but even if you kind of expect it a little bit, like, it can hit much harder and weirder than you expected it to. I'll just say that.
I want to be skinny, I want to be thin, I want to be like other 19, 20-year-old vegans out there who's thin, skinny. That's what I was chasing after. I am not chasing after that anymore.
That is so heartbreaking to me to hear that for 14 years, she was just chasing being skinny. And it makes me really happy to hear that now she's trying to build muscle, because strong, I'll take strong over skinny any day. But just such a sad amount of time spent trying to pursue something. And it sounds like she was trying to do so through veganism, and now she's not chasing weight loss anymore. One can absolutely be vegan without trying to chase weight loss and, you know, heal their relationship with their body and come to a place of like body acceptance or body neutrality without stopping being vegan. So I don't think those two things go hand in hand, like, globally, maybe just because of her specific experience.
I've actually gained a couple of pounds after eating meat, and I haven't stressed. This is very first time in my life gaining a little bit of weight, not stressing. On vegan diet, every time I gain a little weight, I was under so much stress because that's what I was chasing after. So now, what am I chasing after by eating meat? I really want to become strong, my mind, my body, and every strong person around me, they eat meat. I don't really know that many vegans, live friends.
Okay, so she's been non-vegan for 5 days as of making this video. I will say, gaining a few pounds in 5 days, not very stressful. Continuing that trajectory, someone might be singing a different tune if that trajectory continues. But I love the goal of not being obsessed with weight loss. I think that's fantastic. I love the goal of getting strong. And she says all the strong people around her eat meat. Probably all the people around her eat meat. And then she follows it up by saying she doesn't really know any vegans. So yes, everybody that's strong around her eats meat, but also everybody that's not strong around her probably also eats meat, right? Because everybody that's everybody around her eats meat. So I don't know. I think this is something that I would feel very lucky that I did very well over the years, was build a vegan community around me. So it just feels so normal. But I know not everybody can do that. And I always feel like a bit of a jerk when I talk about it because I know that's not possible for everybody. But if you can find a vegan community, I mean, she kind of built one, right, with her online following, but maybe she didn't actually communicate with those people at all. I'm very lucky I actually communicate with lots of you guys.
My friends now, when I tell them that I'm eating meat, they're so excited for me. They're happy. At the end of the day, there's only 1% that are vegan in this world. And I was that 1% for 14 years. And
so I think that's important to give credit where credit's due. Most people will not go vegan for a month in their life. And she did go vegan for 14 years. And not only did she go vegan for 14 years, but she sounds like she helped inspire other people to do something similar. So this reminds me of some of the sort of like, oh, why am I forgetting what it's called? Effective altruism. Oh my God, thank you. So what this kind of reminds me of is the concept of effective altruism. And what that is like, how can you do the most good? And an example of that would be like a CEO of a vegan company who gets vegan products into the hands of millions and gets lots of people to switch over from a non-vegan product to a vegan product, but they're not vegan themselves. That is still going to be more effective on the large scale than one person going vegan, even if personally we struggle to understand why that one person wouldn't do that, right? So we got to give her credit where credit is due. 14 years is a long time. I don't personally understand how you can go back from that, but again, not her. But I will say she's talking about the social aspects of veganism being hard. And I think pretty much any vegan that's telling you the truth is going to say that is the hardest part of being vegan, period. It's the hardest part. It's the family gatherings. It's the going to places that don't have options for you. It's the conversations that you have to have, or like trying to find a restaurant that you can go to. Anything like that is challenging when you are not surrounded by other vegans, or at least don't have a few other people there. So it can be challenging. And again, I've been vegan for 24 years. I don't find it to be challenging anymore. But once in a while, where were we? 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐷𝐸 and I, we went to the beach. We went to the beach this last weekend. And after being on the beach for a couple hours, we decided to like walk the boardwalk, see if there was like, we were a little noshy, wanted to get something. And it was like French fries and falafel. Like those were the options that were on that particular boardwalk. And I said to him, I was like, can you imagine if we had to like subsist on the food here for a few days? Like it would suck. So like there are instances like that, but I would say they are very few and far between for me at this point. But I know that's not the case for everybody.
It's so difficult, you guys. It really is. But I didn't realize how broken I was, really. I was really broken. This is first time in my life I really feel like where I'm actually taking care of myself, you guys. I have a trainer. He's so wonderful. I told him in the beginning, I was like, can you help me lose weight? And then it's funny though, because he had me on a program where I get strong. He said, you need to get strong to even lose weight. That kind of like didn't make sense to me.
Nope, I agree. I agree with the trainer. I mean, you can lose weight before you get strong, but I think people would be much better off if they did it the other way around and got as strong as they could before they tried to lose weight. If you take one piece of advice from me today, that's it. Don't try to lose weight first. Try to build muscle first, because it is so much harder to build muscle once you've lost a lot of weight than it is to build muscle while you're heavier and then just, lose the body fat later. But I don't know, I really feel for her. It sounds like she's been through a lot. It sounds like some hard stuff is happening. And I can think of one client in particular who was going through a really, really challenging time and was struggling with an ED and called me one day asking, I have to eat something that isn't vegan. What should I do? And I said, it was a pretty dire situation at this point. It's important to say, I'm not gonna go into details, but I was like, you gotta have it. Like, you have to have it. Like, you're of no use to anybody, any animals on earth if you're not here. So you gotta have it. It's okay. Like, you matter too, and luckily, things went very well for her. She was able to recover, and she was able to come back around to veganism in a very healthy way. And sometimes people just have to take a detour as well. Who knows where she'll be in a couple years? She could be back. Who's to say?
Guys, it feels so wonderful to feel strong. Like, it just shifted my life. And I'm going to share my journey with you here because I don't really see people that post their journey from going vegan to meat eating. And I don't know, like, that's reality for some, and that's a reality for me.
Okay, I think the rest is just like chit chat. So I'm really happy for her that she is learning to get strong, because that is something that I talk to people about all the time, women especially, who are so afraid of, like she said, getting bulky. You're not gonna get bulky by accident. It's absolutely not gonna happen. Like, I've been trying to get bulky forever, and slowly but surely, right? So getting strong is one of the best things that anybody can do, but especially women who have been kind of conditioned, as she shows us here, to try to be as small as possible for your entire life. Like, for the first time to be like, no, I'm gonna get strong and I'm gonna take up space and I'm gonna be powerful, is really, really liberating. It's a wonderful feeling. It's outstanding for your health. So I wish her well. I hope that this video here is helpful for anybody that has maybe had some of these same thoughts and thought that in order to pursue their goals, they would have to give up veganism, especially if they don't want to. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful for some. If you're looking for help with this specifically, this is something we can definitely help you with. I'll leave a link to the coaching assessment down below. You fill it out, you come back from 𝐃𝐨𝐽𝐿 within a business day. We would love to help you get in the best shape of your life, whatever that means to you, as a vegan. If you liked the video, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit the bell, all the things I'm supposed to tell you to do at the end of a YouTube video, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.